anorectal abscess is present, and in a chronic phase, when the abscess is drained and there is a chronic phase, then there is a fistula in ano. So I'll be talking about anorectal abscess. So it is common in males. Okay, so common in males. And talking about etiology, cryptoglandular theory or cryptoglandular hypothesis is the main cause of and this anorectal abscess. I'll be talking about this theory or hypothesis in a while. Okay, it is responsible for 90% of these anorectal abscesses. The other 10% causes are cutaneous infections, hematogenous spread, perianal injuries, okay, Crohn's, TB, carcinoma rectum. These are the less than 10% causes of this anorectal abscess. So why it is common in males? Because the males are usually hairy, so there's a more prone chance of folliculitis, infection of hair follicles, which can predispose to perianal abscesses. So, what is this cryptoglandular hypothesis or cryptoglandular theory? So, as you have learned in anatomy, there is intersphincteric space. Okay, there is an external anal sphincter and internal anal sphincter, and the space between these two sphincter is intersphincteric space. Okay, so it is filled with fat and loose areolar tissues, and 2/3 of these the anal glands are located within these intersphincteric spaces, and they drained into the anal canal at the level of dentate line, okay, dentate line or pectineal line. When these glands are infected, okay, these glands are infected as they are located in the intersphincteric space. They are also infected, and the perianal sepsis is instituted or begins. Okay, perianal abscess forms. So this is cryptoglandular hypothesis. Okay, cryptoglandular theory, and these are the most common cause of perianal abscess. So, so the most common organism is E. coli, as they are abundant in feces or stool. So the most common organism is found that is isolated in anorectal abscess is E. coli. The other are staph, streptococci, bacteroids, and proteus. Okay, staph and streptococci are mostly found in skin. The risk factors are immunocompromised patients like diabetes, HIV are more prone for anorectal abscesses, and the patient who are suffering from tuberculosis, Crohn's disease, diverticulitis, and C. rectum are also prone for anorectal abscesses. My slides are following my voice. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what are the sites of anorectal abscess? There are 4 major sites, okay, that the anorectal abscesses are localized. So the first is superficial or perianal abscess, as you see in the picture. Okay, the superficial or perianal abscess, ischiorectal abscess, intersphincteric abscess, and supralevator abscess. Okay, there are 4 major categories or 4 major sites of abscess being localized. So perianal abscess. Perianal abscess are the subcutaneous abscess. Okay, they are below the skin of perianal region. Okay, so the causes are the infection of anal glands. Okay, suppuration of thrombosed or external piles, or any infected perianal condition like folliculitis, okay, cellulitis, they can form the perianal abscess. These are most common type of anorectal abscess. Okay, 60% anorectal abscesses are perianal abscess. Okay, they are subcutaneous abscess. Like you see, they are superficial and below the sphincters, okay, below the external and internal anal sphincters. So the clinical features, the patient present with severe pain in perianal region, and there's difficulty in sitting. Okay, they can't even sit. Okay, there is a tender and smooth swelling in the perianal region, and the treatment is obviously incision and drainage under GA, general anesthesia. For the incision and drainage, okay, so patient is kept in lithotomy position, and after giving a general anesthesia, a cruciate incision is given at a most prominent part of the abscess. Okay, cruciate incision and de-roofing of the skin is done. So after draining the abscess, there is a irrigation with hydrogen peroxide and betadine and copious amount of saline. Then the cavity is packed with a ribbon gauze. After then, the pus that we have drained is sent for culture. Okay, and after that, then regular dressing, sitz bath, regular dressing of the cavity is done, and the cavity is allowed to heal from the base. Okay, to allow to granulate from the base. This is basically a secondary healing, as in every type of abscess. Okay, the other, after the perianal abscess, the other most common abscess is istiorectal abscess. Okay, istiorectal abscess, that is also an anorectal abscess. And what is istiorectal abscess? And first we have to know the istiorectal fossa. Okay, as you see in the picture, istiorectal fossa is a pyramidal shape. Okay, pyramidal shaped fossa that lies, okay, in the perianal region. It is about 5 centimeter deep and 2 centimeter wide. Okay, lies between the skin. Okay, there is a skin below and levator ani muscles above. Okay, as you see in the picture. Okay, and those right and left and istiorectal fossa communicates with each other through post-sphincteric space. Okay, so if the abscess is formed in left istiorectal fossa, it can infect the other istiorectal fossa also. So the horseshoe abscess can form. Okay, and the boundaries of istiorectal fossa is laterally, there is a fascia covering the obturator internus. Okay, as you see in the picture. Okay, there's and medially there is levator ani and external sphincter. Okay, posteriorly there is sacrotuberous ligament and gluteus maximus. Anteriorly there is a urogenital diaphragm. Below is a skin, and above there is a lunate fascia and pudental neurovascular bundle in a pudental canal. There is an apex of this pyramid. There is a lunate fascia and pudental canal, also known as Alcock's canal. These are the boundaries of this istiorectal fossa. So similarly, perianal abscess, similar to perianal abscess, the istiorectal abscesses are also present with pain in perianal region. Okay, severe pain. The patient even cannot sit. Okay, there's a tender and indurated swelling of the skin. Okay, there's high fever. Okay, however, the swelling is not well localized as it is deeper. Okay, so the fluctuation is absent, usually absent. Same as perianal abscess, the treatment is incision and drainage under GA. Same as is cruciate incision with de-roofing of the skin is done and pus is drained, which is sent for culture and sensitivity. Okay. The other is the submucous abscess. Okay, it comprises about 5% of the perianal anorectal abscesses. So it occurs at or above the dentate line. It is the abscess that is not involvement. There is not seen from the outside. Okay, so it is not through the skin, but through the mucosa of the anal canal. Okay, it's above the dental line, and there's aching pain in anorectum. Okay, with significant perineal discomfort. There's a tenesmus. Okay, there's a tenderness over rectum or anal canal during digital rectal examination, and the swelling can be palpated in the during the digital rectal examination. Okay, so as I said, there is no obvious swelling externally, but you can feel it with your fingers while doing digital rectal examination. So similarly, the treatment is incision and drainage under GA and with the help of proctoscope. Okay, inside you put a proctoscope and you do incision and drainage, and all the loculi are broken with sinus forceps. And after that, culture is sent of pus and proper antibiotics is given. Usually third generation cephalosporin or quinolones. Okay, ceftriaxone, third generation cephalosporin and quinolones like ciprofloxacin are given to cover the organisms, E. coli, and to cover the fecal bacteroids and anaerobic organisms, we give metronidazole, clindamycin, or ornidazole in all those abscesses. So another is a pelvirectal abscess. Okay, so it is above the levator ani muscles. Okay, in pelvic peritoneum. It's almost like a pelvic abscess. Okay, which occurs secondary to appendicitis, salpingitis, diverticulitis, or Crohn's disease. Okay, so ultrasonography is done to rule out the other factors. So the treatment is drainage of pus. Okay. So there are majorly 4 types of abscesses: perianal abscess, ischiorectal abscess, submucous abscess, and pelvirectal abscess. Okay, so the important thing is all the abscesses, wherever the pus is localized, it has to be drained. Okay, and you should keep in mind that the sphincters, okay, external and internal anal sphincters should be preserved. Okay, and the pus should be sent for culture and proper antibiotics should be given. If there is a inadequate drainage of this pus or improper drainage of pus, then it will lead to sinus or fistula. Okay, fistula in ano and sinus in ano. Okay, so I have been told that you have already been covered anal fistula. Is it, Prakrit?
हजुर सर भइसक्यो
So this way, should I skip this?
हजुर
So the same thing, anal fistula. Okay, so cryptoglandular, non-cryptoglandular classification, same as abscesses. Okay, intersphincteric, transsphincteric, extrasphincteric, and supraelevator. Okay, so with types: high anal, low anal, simple, complex, single, multiple, good cell rules, clinical presentation, and investigations, management. Okay, it's been done. Okay. So post-operatively, as I have said, after the abscess drainage, we ask the patient to do sitz bath. Okay, sitz bath is like in the picture. Lukewarm water is collected in the vessel. Then betadine or potassium permanganate is kept, lukewarm water, and the patient sit inside the that vessel for about 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes. That is the sitz bath. And proper antibiotics, as I have already told, third generation cephalosporin, quinolones, okay, and anaerobic coverage by clindamycin, metronidazole, or ornidazole. Then analgesics, okay, analgesics to relieve the pain. As I've said, there is a severe pain in perianal abscess, so proper analgesics, NSAID or opioids are given according to WHO ladder pattern. Then laxatives, okay, lactulose or igol powder are given, and this treatment is continuous for at least 2 weeks. So then the cavity is healed by granulation from the below upwards, okay, by secondary intention. So this is it. It's a short topic as many things has been already covered. So